Let's check in on small business. Amanda Rose joins me on the desk. She's from Small Business Women Australia. Thanks for joining us. Small business, they get the energy rebate a little bit more, $325 for small business. How big a help is that going to be?
I reckon that would probably be absorbed within a day with all the increased costs for small business. And the $20,000, instant asset write-off, everyone thinks is great. A lot of businesses don't have extra $20,000 to buy anything. This is a big business budget and an anti-small business budget, right? If you look at the future made in Australia, they're actually cutting red tape for foreign investors and big business to get a piece of it. It's future made in Australia. Where are the small businesses in that? The procurement channel, there's nothing for small businesses to get a piece of that. They've got mental health support because they know they're struggling, but we won't cut any red tape for you. We won't look at taxes. We won't even look at how we can encourage people to focus on small business. It's
a very good point, because this is where Labor has drifted increasingly. There are big government, big unions, big business focus. That's all they care about. Yes. There's big tax incentives under this Future Made in Australia for overseas investors and big companies. And what about small business? For instance, even in housing, the government says the way to fix housing is for the government to spend more money. Don't they need to get out of the way of small business and planning regulations so that people can get ahead and build them?
Well, that's the point, right? So they've completely ignored every single thing a small business has actually asked for, everything. And they talk about higher wages. If there are no jobs, then how can you give an employee a higher wage? Small businesses are shutting down on a daily basis. They're not included in anything. And people need to realise that big business, right, and Labor are best friends, because the employees can be unionised. And in small business, they can't. But this is actually so reckless for the small business community. I fear that in about 12 months from now, we're going to see a massive unemployment hike.
It is a worry. Now, you mentioned the instant asset write-off. I was going to mention that as well. That's a good scheme. They've extended that. That means small businesses who can spend up to 20 grand, they get to write off that investment straight away this financial year, so they don't pay tax on it. But as you say, you've got to have
the money to do it. That's right.
And something productive you need to invest in, right?
That's right. Exactly. You can't be forced to buy something you don't need. And a lot of them are using their extra profit or the money they're earning to pay for the increased wages, for extra leave, and for all the extra supply costs, and with inflation and so forth. So they're actually being hurt and they're being ignored. So even the tenders that are going out federally, they're big, chunky tenders. They're not actually breaking it up and saying, hey, we can help 100 small businesses here. They've given it to one business only.
Yeah. Now, let me just dig out one last budget-related number, run it by you and see if you can give me a reaction from the small business sector. And that is that over the 2 years of this Labor government, and as revealed with their plans in this budget, they increased the number of Canberra-based public servants by 36,000 people.
So what that means is they don't outsource anymore as well. So often, and this is what I'm seeing as well, I'm seeing a trend of bringing things in-house, bigger tenders, employees for the government, and saying we're not going to specialist in key areas. And it's that breaking up of, outsourcing to, someone who knows that area or that group of people. That's gone.
And we all have to pay for those public servants instead.
Absolutely, we do.
It's extraordinary. Thanks for joining us again, Amanda. Appreciate it. Amanda Rose there from Small Business Women Australia.